Over to Ben. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm supposed to stand up at this point, aren't I? Okay.
That's the squeaky bit over there, so you,
Right.
you want to go and stand over there.
Right.
Thank you.
How are we doing with cable hanging out? We... Okay. Let's start with a blank sheet of paper. Okay, so I'm first of all going to start with, I have a script. Now I normally prefer to speak freely, but when I'm working I'm used to using a script if I'm doing a funeral service, because what I'm looking to achieve is to tell the story that's been agreed. Now there are specific things that I want to be able to say today, and I need a script to be able to remember all the bits so that I at least look reasonably clever for some of what I say. So it starts with the idea of my genius conversation or my genius talk is the growing pains of meeting organisers. Now, my grandfather loved books. He'd share how what he held in his hand was the creation of a person. He'd marvel at another's imaginings, and books were evidence of another's brilliance. Now for me, I'm in awe at how brilliance translates into beauty. How other people's imaginings are conceived, then designed, built and sustained. Together we are at a meeting that started as an idea, grew into dreams and is endlessly morphing as a structure that we are lucky enough to sit within here today as BeCollaboration. So first my thanks go to Erkan and Jill for making this all very possible. And to each and all who've held the vision, those who support and encourage the community to be what you are. And are there any accomplices in the room?
Not today.
No, apart from you two. Well, I think you deserve a round of applause. Come on, this is an interactive activity. Thank you so much. So, I mean, I want to say a special thanks for driving the vision forward as accomplices and making it happen. And it is a wonderful and cohesive group that we have as individuals that are being encouraged by accomplices to be who we are in a safe and well-held environment. Now, I must admit, I'm a newbie, as you probably already know, but I'm excited and I'm passionate. I seek to understand what BeColl is, how it functions and its structure, and how to empower its vision and mission. Now, a note for you, overstanding might be a new word. It is a Rastafari West Indian word that means to have a complete or intuitive comprehension of something. So we always talk in the West about understanding something, but for them it's about overstanding, getting an overview, get a good understanding of what's happening, or a vision of what's happening and get it intuitively. Now I admire what's been achieved here at BeColl, and I'm curious about what I can do to make a difference. So I get a lot from BeColl and I'm keen to know what's next, both for me and for the community. Now what's the current structure and what can I do to make a difference in it? And I'm cheeky enough to share some thoughts about what I observe. But first of all, a little bit of background. I was a member of the Academy towards the end of its life, and some of what I say here follows my observations of what could have been done differently. But I've also worked in front of house situations several times over the years, and I'm currently playing a central part in the welcome team at the Professional Speaking Association at London meetings. Now, we're volunteers that work in that team, and we have a system that the day is built upon, of which I'll tell you more later. But in essence, the hosts and the president do not need to think outside of what they need to do or achieve, because we take care of it. Now, it's from these experiences that I now speak. So in overview, the BeColl you witnessed today has been created, developed, delivered and sustained. Each of these elements is a complex process in and of itself, and each element has and does require unique and precious determinations and skills. What I admire here is how Erkan and Jill are cared for, respected and empowered through your inputs, your attention and your energies to keep everything rolling. Now, they've worked incredibly hard for a long time to provide you with what you experience. And they each have multiple roles that they play to keep the plate spinning. But, and this is an important but, how can we and I as a community make a difference to them? To build our relationship, show our love, strengthen our connection and show our abundance and collaboratively make BeColl massive. Now, first, let's revisit the foundational principles of the organisation, the vision and the mission. I know that these are read every time, but I want to return to them. So the vision is to teach the world to collaborate. No problem is so large that pure collaboration cannot solve it. BeCollaboration is the beginning of harmony for individuals, groups, organisations and wider communities. We have the raw materials of love, connection and abundance. When used with a collaborative mindset, everything is possible. And the mission. We bring together talent, technical ability and visionary thinking to empower individuals, organisations and communities. We impact human performance with velocity, compassion, humour and love by demonstrating how to move from a paradigm of fear, scarcity and competition to create a new way of being. From here, collaborations are born and everything becomes possible. Now, it's these foundations that are what drew me to BeColl. I didn't need the explanation. Erkan tried very hard, but I didn't need the explanation because I got the message and I got the point. Now, how do we show this to other people without sounding like zealots or values nutters? To my mind, it's through our actions, inclusivity and our behaviours. Magic happens when our behaviours match our intentions, attentions, and often it's the little things that matter as much as the big. In fact, the big have been taken care of. Just look around you. The vision, tick. The mission, tick. The venue, tick. The audience, tick. Amongst other ticks. Now, there's how we look after things in the meeting, how we care for each other, the accomplices, our hosts, and each other in the room. For those of us who are collaborators, I'd like to know something. What is it that drew you to BeColl and why did you join? Now, this is where you get to be interactive. You talk to me. So if I pick the third row, fourth person in or closest to, third row, fourth person in, that's going to be you, Erkan.
Why?
Yeah, why? What got you involved? What gets you involved? What makes you turn up? So I've got all afternoon. No pressure.
I did not expect to be the one answering this question.
I chose a random number. I'm so sorry.
BeCollaboration for me came about because I wanted to make a difference on maths. Make a positive impact on the species. Global impact. At least a global conversation for what's possible. One of those is solving the unsolvable, poverty, death, wars, families. And what I realised is people are too busy trying to run around, make a living, survive, pay bills. So if we could get them together, if we could collaborate and create more value, we can make more money, we can create more solutions, make a bigger impact together than we would on our own. And I guess the fear, scarcity, competition paradigm became more and more evident to me through study and research that Jill mentioned, and the transformation of the conversation from that to one of love, connection, abundance. In that space, anything's possible. If you'd have told me it would take as long as it has to get this far, 5-6 years ago, I probably would have gone together, if I'm honest. So the personal energy it's taken, not like mine only, but Jill's, and we're putting a lot in. It feels we're struggling, I feel we're struggling to get the self-organising aspect to tip.
That's what this is about, so thank you. Pick a number between 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 5,
4.
and between 1 and 6.
2.
That's you, Colin.
So what's the question?
What made you join BeColl? Why do you turn up?
Because it's a space where you can have conversations without having to sense yourself. It's a space where you can grow by experimenting, learning. Because everyone's weird like I am.
I thought you were all normal.
No comparison.
Excuse me, I can't hear Colin speaking. I do apologise. Thank you so much. Pick a number between 1 and 6, please.
2.
And between 1 and 6.
4.
That's going to be you, Rob. No pressure.
No pressure. It's fun being with people who share the same values. And people who are looking in the space where what they're doing is helping others.
Thank you. Do we have any guests in the room? I think the one you get to be chosen as spokesperson for the chair. The guest. Yeah. So what got you here today? What made you? Because you were here last month. Yes. So you've witnessed one meeting and you've come back. So apart from being a masochist, what brought you back in today?
From my side, it's because I'm in business on my own, and I need to recharge and get my energy levels up by being around people who are like-minded, business-minded, and you get the struggles that you go through in business, but they also get the reason why we do what we do, which is the passion for it. So I need to put myself back in that environment where how I feel is not that abnormal, and it's more acceptable and welcomed.
So, thank you. Did you say everything you needed to? Did you say everything you needed to? Wonderful, thank you. I've only written some of what's been said, but that's kind of wow. If I was to ask every one of you, if I was to sit down with each of you for 5 minutes and actually write down all of what you said or recorded it, that would be incredible. I think it's very easy to forget the why. And I'll cover that in a sec. But this is amazing. And it is so very, very simple for us because we get it. That's why we turn up. It makes a difference in our worlds. So to continue from my script, if I may. What's easy for both hosts and attendees to fall into is the same old behaviour. Rock up, do the same as usual, catch up with mates and have a bevy or two. It's easily done. Around you so much happens that makes this all possible though, and it's very easy to miss out on all of this that's going on. Each and every community or organisation depends upon people doing their bit. So look at how BNI, for instance, does what they do, and they do it so well, it looks seamless. And that's just like the Professional Speaking Association in London. So returning to my experience at the PSA in London, the Welcome team is a core group of 3 individuals plus the Vice President. Between us, we can cover up to 80 attendees booking in, providing their personalised lanyards and looking after the venue environment throughout the day, which means getting them backwards and forwards, and it's like herding kittens, trust me. Together, and tidying up around them. Anyway, together we provide the space for the president and the event hosts and MCs and speakers to get on with what they need to achieve. Ideally, our team is 5 to 8 in number. All those that volunteer for these roles get a great deal of personal satisfaction out of caring for their community. Now at BeColl, we can practice these skills too. We can get involved and prepare the space for an ever-increasing numbers of collaborators. But how do we do this? Well, I hear you ask this, and I'd like to have some feedback, some suggestions. I have my own answers, or my own thoughts, but I'd like to understand what you think we can do to empower the meetings that we have that support our hosts in a more effective way. So, this is another part, there's a hint here, it is collaborative. Collaborative, yes, this is an important word. Not only is it collaborative, but it is also interaction. So, who is going to talk to me about what we can do to make a difference as a community to empower ourselves, our accomplices, and what happens in the room? If you don't say anything, I will start picking on you. No pressure. Yes, Jackie.
I actually have a thought in my head, and it's to ask Jill how I can best support her.
Ooh.
And I've had that from an hour or so ago. Because I don't know what she needs, I can have a thought about what I can provide. Finding out what she needs the most, I can then either offer it or not offer it or counter offer it, but at least then I know what's going to make the biggest difference. I have a phrase with my children, sometimes when people help, it's not always helpful.
Good one, thank you.
Ben, if I may.
Yes.
Oaken said something that it was 5 years ago when it started and it's been slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the exact same thought that Jackie had. I haven't even joined yet, but my thought is, how do we speed this up? How do we make it go faster? So I'm sitting here thinking, how can I, now my side is more admin and those kind of skills that I have inherited from me, and I'm thinking, what can I do from that perspective? Would it mean sending out, I know Jill, you sent out an email welcoming the people who were coming and saying you were great. Now can that be taken with you, and these admin tasks get taken on by someone else, and then you focus more on what BeCollaboration is all about? Because if it's taken too long, if 5 years is too long, back to my scarcity thing, Stuart, we're running out of time.
Apart from you, I don't know about you, but I'm getting older and I don't want to get that old before it really goes.
One of the biggest things is me having to invite people, because most people that arrive here is down to me. And if everybody brought someone once a month, every other month, that would be massive for me. Because that is a huge, every single month I go, okay, I've got to send emails to all this database, I've got to send posts onto that Facebook group, I've got to get out onto LinkedIn here, and it's just hours and hours and hours of work that in order to get some guests who might possibly join. In the meeting, one of the biggest things you can do as a collaborator is talk to the guests. Because quite often that's me talking to the guests, and I feel like I tin them to a wall. and they're like fed up with me after a while. It's like if everybody just glanced over and go, oh look, there's a guest sitting on their own.
I hear you. Thank you. So other people please fill the space. Yes, please, Simon.
Jill, we've had this discussion a number of times, and where BeCollaboration really does something is when it coalesces around an action to do something. You already said earlier that the quest was a great example of the collaboration, and it is, and it's been sustainable because this is issue 10 we're putting together now. The frustration Ercan has with Engage is that it needs something to coalesce around. It's fantastic, the people that build the teams, but the teams need to do something. As soon as they have an end point that they're striving for, things will happen and there'll be great excitement around it. This is all building the the people, the teams, the ethos at the end of what it's going to be. But we need missions. We need to do something with this. We need to take it out into the world in some shape or form that actually visibly delivers something. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough. I've been asked to be president of my local round table because I don't know. I can enable them to do things. But they just don't sit around and do something. They think, we've got a great bunch of skill set here. What can we take to the community? What does the community need? And they bridge the two together. And I've got a feeling here that we've got this great resource and it's coming from the right place, and it needs to do something that's visible. Sorry,
that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is what the purpose of this Genius slot is about.
I'll slide on to it.
Thank you so much. So, Jackie, give me 1 sec. So it's about actions, but it's also about people taking actions. Because I've got, as I say, in my list, you'll see me highlighting different bits. But what can we here in the room do in the meetings to make our community strong, that will then draw in the actions that need to be taken to make our community grow and be what it has the potential to be? Because that is being seen, but we've got some steps missing. And that's what I want to point out here. Jackie.
Coming from a completely different place.
Oh, good. I like a different place.
Something isn't happening.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not coming at it from the right angle.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not possible. But it's almost like if it's hard work and it's not naturally happening, don't force it. Now the thing about my collaboration with Nick and Miranda is it just turned up. We didn't look for it, we didn't force it, we didn't even want it. We just got together for a day, thanks to Nick being free to travel. He could come up to Peterborough and he was also free to spend a day. I said, let's book a day. We just met. We had lunch, we had coffee. We didn't budge from the fireplace the whole time. And that's where the creativity sparked. And there was something that you said, was it a conversation with Dave? About looking at how our collaboration came together compared to their collaboration?
Yeah, you did mention that, yeah.
And it's like ours came together on a values basis, but I suspect so did theirs. So maybe what we need to do actually is go back to that collaboration slide and actually reverse engineer and look at how did they come together? What is it, how is it that the collaboration comes together? Instead of saying collaborate, do something, maybe we haven't understood a little bit more of the magic ingredient that needs to come in.
We're not engineering serendipity.
Those are awfully big words.
It's those creative provisions.
Yeah. It's
Now,
like
I understand that. Well, look, I'm not trying to force it.
I know you're not.
But
I'm
yeah,
just saying
yeah. But no, I hear you. But let me respond, please. Thank you. I mean, I'm here because I went to a breakfast meeting on the 3rd of January and Erkan was there. Now that was a serendipity. And I'm using that serendipity to say, look, I'm part of a team that does a bloody good job in London. Am I allowed to swear? Can't remember. But I can see what happens when people volunteer and put in a finger to make a difference. So what I'm saying here, what can we do to put in a finger to make a difference so that our meetings are more robust? And because they're more robust, that then automatically attracts in more attention, more activity, more involvement.
So there's a presupposition there.
Oh, I'm full of presuppositions. Go for it.
That it's the meetings that are the core to it. Maybe it's something wider than that before they come to the meeting or whatever. So some of the suggestions that have been made have been wider suggestions. And I know you're trying to narrow it down, but beyond looking after which I do inherently look after the visitors, and contribute as much as possible with content, etc., etc. Yes, we can help with the administration of things, but to me it's wider than that, it's beyond that.
Sure. My question in response to that, I know you're there, Beju. my response to that is rather important. If our leaders burn out because they're doing all the small stuff as well as the big stuff...
Is that about the meetings, or is that about wider than that, which other people have offered to help with?
Yeah, well, so far the only direct help offered that I've noted is taking some of the admin off. So I'm looking at, we've also got to care for our leadership. And that's really important because in the academy, again, our leadership struggled.
Well, I think we go back to the first question. What does the leadership want from us in order to assist Ben?
That's always a possibility, but at the same time, I'm just going to throw it back. What are you prepared to put in to help your leadership so that they know that they've got the support? Because if they don't know that there is support there that they can bank on, how can they ask for it? So it's chicken and egg. And that's, I've got Beju did have his hand up a little while ago. Beju, something you want to say? Challenge me.
Whether it's a business, whether it's non-profit, whether it's community, whatever it is, people come together for their own reasons.
Yeah.
Right? If they can see whatever vehicles created, they get those reasons, they will stay. If they can't see that they will get through the vehicles, they will go.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, it's very easy to say, yeah, collaboration's the answer, collaboration's the answer, we should collaborate. Is people cannot connect the dot between their problem and collaboration being the answer. The fact that there's 50, 100 dots in between those, which looks like a one-to-one, that looks like coming to a meeting, that looks like doing the podcast, that looks like the little dots that allow collaboration happen. People don't get it, and the message is too confusing. It's very easy to blame, oh, collaborators don't engage, we don't do this, we don't do this. Fundamentally, we haven't communicated what problem you're solving. Fundamentally, the meeting is just a vehicle. It's just the podcast is just a vehicle, and we go too shallow, too wide, and not deep, because we're scared to put on some sort of business dialogue around it. Whether you hate or like BNI, it's a superb example of this is what we're about. We focus on this one thing. We help you get business by generating direct referrals, and then they've got the environment to create that. And the one-to-ones, the power meetings, they're just little things to make sure fundamentally when someone comes to a morning meeting at BNI, you will get a referral. That's what it's about. When they come here, is we do not know, like Jackie's thing, that happens. Now, how can you make sure that more of that happens naturally is whereby the structure underneath is consistent. So those things happen naturally.
So can I ask a question?
Again?
A question from me?
Yeah.
Would you be prepared to help review how the structure is and how to improve, or in the way that you can see the structure?
You come in here like on sort of 12th hour, if you like, okay knows that, and Jill knows that. We've had numerous conversations. I would say to them too, is look at the members in the first 2 years that you really respected and go and ask them why they're not still with us. That will give you the answer. Right, there were some top people who joined BeColl in the first 2 years who are not here. Go and ask them, why have you not stayed? That will give you the answer. You won't like what they say, but they will give you the answer. People here, it's very easy. That first sheet, go back to the first sheet, right? If any group, PSA, BNI, anything, they give those things at different levels. BeColl gives that at a core level. You get those at PSA, but at a different level. Because people go to PSA because they want to be a better speaker and get gigs. People go to BNI because they want to get referral. People come to BeColl, if they only getting that, that's fantastic, but if it's only that, it's like, well, okay, hang on. Where's the business element? Where's the thing? Where's the thing I'm going to really grow?
Thank you. Anyone else have anything they'd like to throw in? And how am I doing on time? 2 minutes. Then if I may, I have my list of things, my own thoughts, if I may run through those, rather than ask other questions. So, for Erkan and Jill, they're used to doing much of what's required in most areas of the organisation, which includes holding the blue sky thinking and the grand design, yet doing the nitty-gritty too. And yes, they're prone to bang on about the same things in the same way as that's what they're used to doing. Totally understandable given that how hard they work. It's easy for us to switch off and take for granted what they say and ignore what they've developed. For this slot, I was sent a raft of stuff to read by Jill, which is quite brilliant in its content and structure, with advice and ideas about the whole experience, to make sure that I make the most out of it. I could choose to ignore it, but if I did that, I'd be a fool. This community is what it is because of vision, bloody-mindedness and determination to make a difference, and going forward with that vision, it will grow as more people step up and put in their energy. For each person here, I suggest build on your collaborative skills by serving each other and the meeting with specific energy. Volunteer to help set up the venue and the meeting, and accomplices will also know what this is about. Volunteer to greet each person as they arrive with a hug, if you like. It works well with most people, and most people smile afterwards. Because we have people on the door at the PSA, and someone just hugs people as they come in, and they smile. Because I'm sat right in front of that, and I see it happening. Volunteer to spend some time with visitors and engage with them and their questions and queries. Volunteer to ensure people know their way around the venue and where the facilities are, and that they're provided with beverages, etc. Volunteer to greet anyone who arrives once the meeting has started and ensure they're taken care of. Volunteer to help with any aspects of the meeting, such as timekeeper, MC, continuity, camera person, prop mover, etc., etc. And volunteer to help close down the meeting, which I notice normally happens very well. Now that also includes carrying items to the car, collecting badges and checking in with visitors to make sure everything is good for them. And outside of meetings, it is volunteers that provide their skills too, that make BeColl work, such as admin, website, PR, copy, design, contacts, etc. It is the magic of collaboration, cooperation and co-facilitation and co-responsibility that will strengthen these meetings in this community. And I'm left with one question. Who's up for a step up? Thank you.